Welcome to this week's edition of Indigo Living's On the Couch series, a series that celebrates leading women across the region. This week is actually very special as the UAE celebrates National Day, so I couldn't think of a better guest to have on than an award-winning Michelin star restaurant owner, but not just any restaurant. This is a homegrown brand. In addition to this, this woman is going to truly inspire you. Basketball star, top 50 list of every power list you can think of. I can't wait to share her story. She is going to truly inspire you. Please welcome on our set, Panchali Mahendra. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Rosemin. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Well, it is National Day, and I couldn't think of anyone better to have than you because you have such an incredible story on so many levels. One, coming to the UAE and finding opportunity. Two, changing the restaurant scene. And of course, three, truly empowering women. I feel like that is your mission, which we have these common interests of developing their careers and giving them financial independence and so much more. But I want to start right from the start because you are a basketball star. Let's start with that. That's pretty impressive.
Thank you. I've always had this affinity towards sports, not just basketball. I was a state level javelin throw, high jumper, played a lot of track and field. But basketball was my true calling, and it doesn't show now, but
no,
it did show when we were in school. And there was something about it, and I did extremely well. I picked it up in a very early stage and continued to play for my school, my district, played for my state, and then was part of the India team.
That is amazing.
So it was a beautiful journey. All that I wanted to do was to play basketball. I slept with my ball. It was attached to my hand like a glue.
I love that.
And but I think life had different plans for me. I think my father had different plans. So yeah, the kind life started with playing basketball. And
I wanted to actually reference sports because I think anyone who understands sports, and I always encourage kids to find a sport that they love because it teaches them discipline. It teaches them teamwork. It teaches them responsibility of being responsible for your role in a team. Mm-hmm. And when you look at your life, now fast forward, you have implemented all those principles into your life in different sectors. So I think sports is, I mean, it's no surprise, you're a star in all these different, from track to basketball. So from there, you're in India. Take us through your journey.
So I've passed out from school. Actually, my father, he thought I was turning very tomboyish. And he said we should send our daughter to a finishing school because, you know, I had a short haircut and I was sitting like in a very masculine form. So they had concerns. So instead of sending me to a polishing school, they decided to send me to a hospitality school. So I did my undergraduation from this hotel school in India that is run by the Taj Group of Hotels. Mm-hmm. And it is affiliated with the UK, with the University of Huddersfield, Yorkshire. And did pretty well, got a gold medal.
Fantastic.
Both in UK and in India. And then went ahead to do my post-graduation/masters with the Oberoi Hotel School. It's a scholarship program that they pick up around 50, 60 kids out of thousands that mm-hmm. apply every year. And did my graduation with the Oberoi Group of Hotels. Was posted as an F&B assistant manager at the Oberoi Mumbai. Worked there for a couple of months and year. Unfortunately, I was a part of the 26/11 that, you know, yesterday was was the date of the terrorist attack. Mm-hmm. And just something took away from me. I saw too much, lost a friend, almost got shot, and just couldn't go back. Yeah, it's been a ride.
That is crazy. Yeah.
So I couldn't go back to hotels because there was something that went away. And started consulting in India for one of the biggest consulting firms in the world called HVS. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I really liked because it was just writing theses and reports. But what I found in consulting was this love for F&B. And I said, this is something that I really like. I have an F&B background. I want to pursue this. And back in the days, I'm talking about 15 years back, there were not many women or there were not many consulting firms only for food and beverage. So I think that's where my cycle started. Somebody hired me to open this brand called Lapin Cotidier in India. And LPQ.
Which is that's super successful.
And so we had the franchise for that brand in India. And I started opening restaurants from there. And today it's been almost 20 years in the industry and I haven't looked back. And I've opened close to 70 restaurants. And that was one of the reasons I came to Dubai 12 years back, when I thought the industry is about to begin and it's about to boom in Middle East. And I thought it was a good time to move in, and look, this is where I am.
That is such an incredible story. And also the UAE is so dynamic. It's constantly evolving from restaurants, from international brands to homegrown brands. I want to talk about your star, the Michelin star, but this is like a star restaurant, 11 Woodfire. How did that concept come up? Because it's a homegrown brand.
You know, it's just before, when I was talking to you about manifestation, and, you know, you just manifest a few things that we want to do something that is going to be very different. And in the industry where you have 14,000 restaurants already in the city, how different can you be? So we lucked out on this talented chef called Akmal Anwar, who had just then departed from one of his restaurants, Three Fills. And this is post-COVID, and I believed in his talent. One of my CEO and the owner of the company, he knew him from Iggy days in Singapore. So, you know, it all kind of aligned together. And we said, listen, we are very interested to do a restaurant with you. And he had this whole Woodfire immersive concept in his mind. So I said, okay, give this to me. Let me build this on. And that is where 11 Woodfire started. So he knew he wanted to cook on Woodfire. And I said, I'm going to create a concept around it. Let's look for the perfect location. And my, oh my, we found the perfect location, which was the villa out of nowhere, which had this big leasing sign. I don't know how it all just works together. And
That's
I called
manifestation,
that,
right?
Exactly. So I called up the owner, and he wasn't really interested in giving that villa out to anybody, because you're sitting in prime location right in front of Mandarin Oriental on Jumeirah. And I think the chef tried calling him up. There was no response. Then I called him up, and probably it was my little humble voice, or, you know, just that, or a desperate voice. And he said, I'll meet you. Let me first see you, meet you, know about your company. And that's when 11 Woodfire happened. We got that villa. We said, this is the journey that is going to be, and we knew it was going to be something very different. And no one had done a full-fledged cooking on live fire, being your central pit, because it involves a lot of technicalities in running a restaurant of that caliber 3 years back. So we believed in the talent, we believed in the concept, we believed in the location. And we never opened it to get a Michelin star, because the Michelin guide wasn't even there in Dubai at that time. I think we just we created something to make a mark and, of course, make money. And who doesn't like food cooked on live fire?
Yeah.
And that's where it started. And
it's an original concept.
It's an original
great
concept. Team. Great talent,
and
great
location.
Team, and beautiful interior, something very different that we wanted to give the chef's personality through the interiors to keep it. He wanted a bit more dark, mysterious, gangster style. Because you're cooking on live fire, you know, there's nothing more raw and rustic about it. So these are the elements that came around, and we majorly lucked out with Michelin coming in 5 months. And I think we were one of the very few restaurants who are non-licensed. We don't serve alcohol, and we got a Michelin star under 5 months.
That's so impressive.
That was never heard of, and I think that is what created the fate for the brand. So.
And what was that feeling, getting that Michelin star?
Yeah, it was, I have to be honest, it was bittersweet, because I actually walked in there thinking that my other brand, Maria, which has always been for 13 years, 2 Michelin star in New York, was going to get a star. And I thought 11 is just 5 months old. It's a baby. It's probably going to get a recommendation or probably get a Bib Gourmand. And so I'm sitting here, of course, there's one team on left and one team on the right.
And you were right in the middle.
I'm right in the middle. And so Maria doesn't get a star, but gets Michelin selected. And 11 Woodfire that no one expected in the audience or anyone. I wasn't expecting it. Got a star. So I didn't know to be happy for what and to be sad for which one. But no, I think nobody believed it. We were so ecstatic. It didn't sink in. It took some time to understand. I do understand the gravity of it, because we have over close to 30, 35 Michelin stars in our group. But
That's
for Dubai,
incredible.
But we didn't know how the fate would change for Dubai or how Dubai is going to react to it. But 21st June 2022, the fate of our company, the fate of 11 Woodfire changed. I have to say, Michelin is very powerful.
Well, I think I think it's an incredible testament to your leadership. But you have been under the leadership of incredible groups like an Oberoi, and, you know, understanding how the Taj works, moving on to your company now where you're an MD. How would you describe your leadership style?
You know, hospitality teaches you one thing, and I think this has always been uh, my style is to get your hands dirty. This is my quote that has stuck by me is, you know, dirty hands is a sign of clean money. And you have to be a part of the system to lead the system and never shy away from doing the dirty jobs. I have integrity of labor. So at any point of time, if I have to sit down and wash dishes with my team, I will do it. I have no problem. It could be seen, it has both pros and cons. I like micromanaging and I cannot let it go. And my team hates it. And we are growing, and we have close to now 18 restaurants just in Middle East and India. And I know I should let go and let my team take over and do it, but I cannot help but micromanage. So I'm so involved with the photography of the place and the social media and why is this and what content is being written. So
but that's true passion, right?
So that is.
Yeah,
so you
it's
just,
passion.
as a leader, you have to be passionate.
Yeah.
You have to be an adrenaline junkie in this industry, especially because you're working 24/7. You cannot have an off day. It's not a 9 to 6. So unless you don't have it in your bones, you can't do it. So I think as a leader, I'm very approachable. I would like to believe we're all very humble. We take our success with humility, and we try and be the same people for the group. My doors are open literally for anybody and everybody to come and talk to me. And I think this is the kind of leadership style I want. It's knowing the names of every employee and them knowing you, who you are, and staying true and working in the growth of every individual, that what is the next. Because, as a leader, it's your responsibility to run the families and the lives of all the people who are working today. We have close to 900 people in the company. So it's our responsibility to take care of each and every individual's growth path.
And exactly what you said is really being responsible for their career development and giving them the tools to go up the ladder and see a future within the company, ideally.
True. Absolutely. I mean, if you're not going to grow and you're not going to take your team to grow with you, they're going to leave. You're in the most dynamic and competitive market in the world, in the hospitality industry. And somebody will leave you for 10 dirham. That's the reality. Yeah. It's unfortunate. So what else can you do? It can't be money every time. That cannot be the incentive. So the other incentive is like, I was just telling somebody really who are my role models are the people who join as stewards, as janitors in company, and they grow up the ladder of becoming chefs at time because they're so passionate. But you also want to feed into their passion, be like, I have a place for you to grow. And that is what I think everybody wants to see, that they grow 360, not just monetarily, but I think emotionally, I think professionally, spiritually, in every form.
That's brilliant. I also wanted to ask you, this industry is so dynamic. F&B, hospitality industry in Dubai. People fly here, not only for the beaches and the hotels, but restaurants they will book in advance. Yeah. It's such a culinary experience. What is your view for the future? Is there still space in this market?
The advisor and the consultant part of me would say no. I think we are already been a saturated market. But then the restaurateur in me says that I am opening more restaurants. So how could I lie away from the fact that there is no scope? I think in terms of the capacity of the per capita and the per person ratio, it's really high. It's more than even New York and London and Paris right now. But I think this is a very resilient market, and it's an unpredictable genre of F&B, because you can have two restaurants in the same place open together, and one could be doing extremely well and one's dead. I think every restaurant brings its own luck along with it. So I always feel that there is place for more, and the strong brands will stay. The not so thought after, the ones that haven't had the due diligence, will see an earlier exit. And an earlier exit in coming years, because it's getting more competitive. Your audience is more educated now, more traveled. They are spoiled for all the Michelin star choices right now. Now you don't even have to travel, Yeah. It's funny because most of my friends is like, I've got a Michelin star in the back alley of my road. So, Dubai is at that level. But I think it's getting very competitive for everyone. And now you have to start thinking not about building, but about sustaining. And that is what the next year is going to be, is how to sustain your brand and make sure your bottom line, your P&L is looking profitable.
And that consumer retention, right? You want customers coming back to your restaurant and craving that dish. I mean, to me, when it comes to restaurants, I always judge it by that? Is there a dish that I'm craving to go back to? Is
Exactly.
there something that's this lasting image that I want to go back? And of course, for me, service is a huge, huge
True.
element.
No, Rosemin, if I ask you what are your top 5 restaurants, it's not that you will remember the restaurants by their brands, I'm saying, but you'll always remember and have favorites for the dishes that you like.
100%.
Right? Of course, if you like LPM, then there would be, a certain dish from there, or from Azuma, or any of the brands, or 11 Wood Fire. It's always that dish that you go back to as a repeat client. You go back for the dish, or for the vibe of the place together. So I think, rightfully said, we as a brand and as Atelier House Hospitality have always given a lot of prominence and persistence to food. Food is the central part. Of course, I love design, so all my restaurants have a design element to it. I am actually an artist too. I had one of my subjects along with basketball was to paint. So I do sketch and charcoal painting, and I'm very inspired by Picasso. So art and food is together. And we keep food very simple. Any of my brands, 11 Wood Fire, was it Maria, was it Mohalla, RSVP, we want the food to be not played around with. We want the authenticity. We want the, the bang on flavor profiling of it. I'm not playing it. I'm not doing any gimmicks. I'm not doing any modern gastronomy. I'm not doing any molecular gastronomy. I'm giving you food as it is supposed to be. I think that is what has worked in sustaining my restaurants and for them to be today where they are.
So what's most impressive about your portfolio is that you have a lot of homegrown brands.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a balance of international brands, but these homegrown brands, do you see them expanding globally outside of the UAE and Middle East?
Absolutely. And we've already gone ahead and expanded. My Indian restaurant, Mohalla, that opened 5 years back, was actually one of the first restaurants 3 years back to be exported to Saudi Arabia. And it was franchised by the royal family.
Amazing.
And we already have 2 Mohallas in Riyadh. This year, we are contemplating, and hopefully, we will be taking Mohalla to New York, to Manhattan.
Oh, fantastic.
And, we have a whole team there.
Yeah.
So we said, you already have the infrastructure, why don't you take? And I think New Yorkers love Indian food.
Yes.
So I think it's time they taste some of our version. 11 Wood Fire, of course, is really new. We were about to, be close to 2 years. We will be planning its international expansion to see where we can take it. And for now, we are concentrating a lot on India. I think it's a great market. We just opened 2 restaurants this year, doing extremely well. And we want to take those 2 brands, and we have expansion plans, pan-India. I mean, the country is massive. So I think this is what right now, going to New York, expanding India. And in Dubai, I have a couple of projects that I'm opening up. One of them is called Garbu, which is going to be the first modern Emirati restaurant on the lines of sustainability and having a lot of influence of Arab food. It was high time we gave due credit to the local food scene.
That's amazing. And so when's that opening up?
Hopefully, inshallah, April 2024.
Oh, fantastic.
It's beautiful. It is in association with Tashkil, which is an art studio that is led by Sheikha Latifa bin Maktoum.
Yeah.
So they're coming as the art and the food together. So
which are just your passions. I think that's your passions coming together. Again,
I mean, she's an artist actually.
Yes.
So it was mostly her vision in the art form to come in. And of course, she knows I love art.
Yeah.
Food is art.
Yeah.
Plateware, furniture, everything that you see around you is art. And it has to have that artistic element to it. So this is a very special and a very beautiful project that I think will mark another level of a 2.0 for a company when people come and see what we have done together with them.
That's incredible. So we have to look out for that.
Yes, you will be invited.
Yeah, I'm definitely coming. Let's talk about your entrepreneurial spirit. You're on every powerful women's list. I mean, every power list that is published. You're truly inspiring. But then you ventured into something that's not F&B. You did home spa. How did that come about? I mean, I use this service, by the way, if anyone wants to know. This is like when I get off a plane, I have your team always in my home. I always talk about their professionalism. I mean, the best masseuses. How did you venture into something so different?
Solace was a very personal venture because, I never had time to go and relax. Like I told you, I'm an adrenal junkie, and with just running around, I could not go to a spa. So I always wanted spa to come to my place. I never had time to do it with my husband. So we always wanted this couple spa. And when you go to a spa, then, when you're driving back, you're like, what was the purpose of it? So there were some certain companies that had the whole home spa aspect, but there was always something missing. And I spoke with my husband, and this is something I wanted to do for him because, he likes venturing into, small businesses. And with my boss, I said, he's like, why would you want to do spa? I said, you don't understand. There's not a good high-end home spa, and it's a huge industry that you can tap into for women, women only, and for couples. Because mothers, working women, like yourselves, and that we don't have that kind of time to go and enjoy and come back.
Yeah.
And like I was telling you, anything and everything that I like, I want one for myself. Yeah. So I want to eat.
I love that.
I want restaurants. I like to drink. I want bars. I love spas. So I opened a home spa. But it was for women. It was I'm all about women. I love empowering them. So this was more about telling women that it's a high-end luxury space for you, which has been beautifully curated, keeping everything in mind. So enjoy this moment for yourself.
That is incredible. No, I use this service because I find I'm not when I'm here, I'm on work mode, right? Constantly on work mode. So even if I travel, the thought of going to a spa is like the distance to travel, to check into the spa, to change into the robe. Like you're done an hour, then you do the actual treatment, and then it's like another hour of like leaving, checking out, driving home. And it's 3 hours of your day that's gone. And the minute I discovered your service, I was actually blown away because it's exactly what I needed. I need to be in the comfort of my own home. I needed to be in and out. And I just thought your team was super professional. So
thank you.
I'm a very happy customer.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Happy to hear that.
And how did you choose? We talked about women's development. You're super passionate about teaching women financial independence, developing their careers. How did this home spa concept and your passion for supporting women come together? Because we discussed this very briefly.
Sure. I think the time when for Solace we were recruiting, we went to the Balinese training school, Indonesia, and we started realizing that some of these women who we wanted to recruit were widows or divorcees or single mothers, or were the only single income generator in the household. And I said, this is something that we could do for them. And anyways, this spa was only for women or for couples.
Yeah.
So I only wanted to recruit women masseuses. And when I heard about them, sorry, I was all in to support them, to bring them to Dubai so that they could make a living. And today, I think we have around 4 or 5 therapists, and they all have had some sort of story and a path. And we are supporting them, and the money that they make, they're able to support it back in their family, educate their kids, take care of their parents, support themselves. And I think that was a great story for us to tell through Solace. So each woman is now empowered. She's earning for herself and her family. In my headquarters, in my Telehouse Hospitality, we have 60% women-led team. So, it wasn't by choice. I don't look at gender so much. I look at potential. Yeah. But it was so interesting to see that, how our company has got an equal opportunity for women. But I must tell you that in F&B industry, it is all about multitasking. And I think women are way better multitaskers than men. For sure. I'll give that hands down. We can multitask better. We're going to
bold that statement. That's going to be your quote at the end of this show.
Yeah, so it kind of works perfectly. But this is how, in my own small ways, I could do it. There's an NGO back in India that my mom supports. They're all widows. They're again single mothers who make spices. And it's called Akanksha. It's an NGO run by all women, and different kinds of homegrown spices that we kind of try and use it in our daily consumption or restaurant consumption in Mohalla to take some of those spices. So, whatever we can give back to the society. I'm just trying, but I want to do a lot more.
I love that. So our motto at Indigo Living is living beautifully. What does that mean to you?
I think living beautifully is an ease of life where things are simple, the things are comfortable, yet stylish. I believe in this whole thesis of affordable luxury, and this is what we go by. And a life filled with love, great food, and laughter is what simple and comfortable and great living is about.
I love that. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for sharing your inspiring story. And we are so proud of you of bringing Michelin star restaurants here in the UAE.
Thank you, Rosemin. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching our segment on leading women. We hope it has truly inspired you as much as it has inspired me. It is the end of the year, and I just want to say thank you to all of our viewers for following us each season and sharing stories and nominating women to be on our show as well. We can't wait to share our next season with you very soon. Thanks for watching, and follow us on Instagram and, of course, YouTube, Indigo Living UAE.